Welcome back to another Deadly Brew. Today we're going to be talking about Daryl, Hunter of Walkers. Now let it be said, Gruul is probably my least favorite guild, but the commander is so unique and draws so many cards that I kind of just don't care. Usually why I don't like Gruul is because all the commanders are exclusively based on attack, and that's not my style. But you'll see, and hopefully you too will fall in love with Daryl, Hunter of Walkers. Walkers are monsters. I'm not wrong. Shut up. Daryl, Hunter of Walkers, is a 4-mana 4/4 for 2 and red-green for legendary creature Human Archer. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent creates 3 Walker tokens. Walker tokens, for those that don't know, are 2/2 zombies that are named Walkers, but they are typed as zombies. Tap, Daryl deals 2 damage to target creature. Whenever a zombie an opponent controls dies, draw a card. So the breakdown is, during your upkeep, you can give someone 3 2/2 zombies. Hopefully you can convince them to not throw those zombies at you in exchange for giving them a free 6 power, which is 3 2/2 zombies. If they do wind up swinging them at you and they only have 3, then you can declare Daryl as a block, tap, shoot another one, and you're only taking 2 and you draw 2 cards. It's a pretty good deal. But if they play ball, then you can just constantly give the same player 3 zombies over and over and over and over again. Hopefully they swing at each other. You can give them to the person who's defenseless so that they have to block, and then you get more zombie deaths. And every single time one of these walkers dies, or any zombie for that matter, you draw a card. Changeling, draw a card. Opponent has a zombie commander, draw a card. Every single time a zombie an opponent controls dies. So what our game plan is we're going to give out a bunch of zombies, and then we hope they die of natural causes, and if not, Daryl can tap kill one of them every turn to draw you a card. We can also give our opponents extra zombies with things like Primal Vigor and Strionic Resonator to copy his trigger. This is a fantastic way to get a bunch of zombies in the battlefield. Now, how do we pay off all of these zombies we're giving away? Well, we have numerous amounts of instant speed deal 2 damage to all creature wipes. These will not kill Daryl unless he already has damage marked on him. Things like Delayed Blast Fireball, Kozilek's Return, Volcanic Fallout. There's a few other cards that are the exact same ability in the deck that I really won't go into, but it's just that style of effect. The 3-mana deal 2 to all creatures, instant speed shenanigans. If they do wind up attacking us with all these zombies, or if someone's trying to exile wipe or bounce wipe, things that would deny us the card draw, we can hold up our mana and tap for 3 and blow away all the zombies and draw a massive amount of cards. Because every single zombie that dies, we draw a card, remember. Now what happens when they're playing ball and we have our Daryl up and we don't really feel like sniping a zombie? Well, we have our punching bag friends, as I like to call them. Apex Alchosaur is every time Daryl shoots it, we get to fight a bunch of things, maybe even the zombies. Brash Taunter is every time Daryl shoots it, it shoots someone else directly to the face. Ranging Raptors, every time Daryl shoots it, we get to search our library for a basic and put it right on the battlefield. And finally, Ripjaw Raptor, every time Daryl shoots it, we draw a card. More card draw. Now, what if our opponent has a problem child that is more than 2 toughness. Well, this is what I like to call upgrading his crossbow to a gun. We give him Death Touch. It's not super hard in these colors. Basilisk Collar and Gorgon's Head being the best of the two, other than of course our Giga Chad of the set, which is Sereth, Piper's Fang. This both gives our Daryl hexproof and turns his taps into kills, because whenever he becomes tapped he gains Death Touch, and while he's tapped he's dealing the 2 damage, which is lethal to any creature that's not indestructible. She can also tap 1 to untap him and give him hexproof to protect from a sudden spot removal, or even just kill another creature. Speaking of killing off a bunch of creatures, we have ways to untap Daryl, such as Nature's Chosen and Instill Energy, which are the same card. Basically, for 1 green mana, you enchant Daryl, and he can untap himself for free once on your own turn. So you tap, kill something, for 0, untap him. And you can do that for both versions of the cards I mentioned prior. Quest for Renewal will untap him on each and every player's turn, as long as your thing has 4 counters, which you get counters for tapping him, or just tapping anything really, whether you're attacking or tapping him for an ability. So that'll let you have Daryl up and ready to snipe on every single turn, if you need him to. Seedborn Muse untaps everything on everyone's turn, including your lands, which you can use for our vast amount of reactionary spells. And finally, Thornbite Staff, which can be a bit backbreaking, I'm not gonna lie, when he has Death Touch, is he'll have, whenever a creature dies, untap him. This can be used to snipe all of the zombies whenever we feel like, because you kill a zombie, untap him, kill a zombie, untap him, kill a zombie, untap him. But once he has Death Touch, you can kill everyone's creatures all the time, constantly. They play a creature, tap, kill it, untap. They play another creature, tap, kill it, untap, etc. This can be pretty brutal to fight through, but, you know, dims to breaks. Gotta have something strong in the deck. Now for my favorite part, what the deck was really built around, was tricks. Tibble's Trickery is a mono-red counterspell, which absolutely no one ever sees coming ever. You have to be careful with it though, because you only really get 1. You can blow out something that would otherwise devastate you, like a Farewell. Then we have Deflecting Swat and Bolt Bend, which are effectively the same card, that let you redirect a target to something else. They would try to kill Daryl, you Bolt Bend, you kill one of their things instead. They try to enchant one of their creatures with some absurd aura, you can redirect it to Daryl. Whatever you want. Honestly, redirection spells are super flexible and super fun. I like them a lot. Then we have Chef's Kiss, which is a little less controlled than the previously mentioned choices. Basically says that if something targets one thing, you can gain control of the spell and then copy it. And both those targets target a random thing that's not yours. So if they cast Swords to Plowshares, you can cast Chef's Kiss, you gain control of the spell, and then you get to shoot 2 things at random that are not your creatures. They do have to be legal targets still. And then for our coolest trick, we have Reap, which for 2 mana lets us instant speed return any number of any cards from our graveyard to our hand, equal to the number of black permanents our opponent controls, and since we're giving them zombies, which happen to be black, we get to draw a bunch of cards from our graveyard. And finally, Noxious Revival, which will let us put our Reap back on top for next turn. Another goofy little ad is Pygmy Kavu. It will draw us a card for each black creature on the battlefield that's not ours. So we get to draw for each and every zombie that's on the battlefield, and we get a cute little body that does nothing but chump block. But more importantly, even if we've only given 2 sets of zombies to our opponents, that's formatted to draw 6 cards just for entering. And again, that's not even counting their own black stuff. So this card is pretty strong in this deck, I'll say. Now, drawing a bunch of cards and killing a bunch of zombies isn't really going to do anything. How do we win? Well, now that's the easy part. We have Dingus Staff and Vicious Shadows, which punish players for having their creatures die, and we're going to be killing all their creatures. Vicious Shadows shoots a player in the face equal to the number of cards in their hand every time any creature dies. It doesn't need to be their creature, it just needs to be a creature. If they have 5 cards in their hand, and we kill someone else's 3 zombies, we get to shoot them for 15. It's quite a lot of damage. And finally, Dingus Staff does care about who's controlling the creature, and it domes them for 2 every time they lose a creature. So every time they lose a zombie, they take 2 damage, and we will draw a card. Like all my decks, it's important to have a backup Wincon. Our backup Wincon in this instance is playing an enchantment called Repercussion, which says whenever a creature takes damage, that creature's controller also takes the damage. And then we pair it with either Blasphemous Act or Star of Extinction to deal 20 to them for each creature they have, or 13 to them for each creature they have. And if they have a couple of creatures, maybe, I don't know, zombies we gave them, that'll definitely do them in, and then they will die. Thanks for popping by. I hope you like my cool Daryl list. It's in the description, the deck list on Moxfield. You are free to check it out. I play on Spell Table with this deck all the time. I love it. Hopefully you too will love this wacky Gruul control card draw deck. Anyway, have a nice day. Leave a comment down below. Like, subscribe. You know all the jazz. You've seen YouTubes. Anyway, goodbye.